Hello, everybody. Good evening. Who took a minute to go out and gaze at the stars? Can we have a big hand for Dr. Gio Lorenzo for setting that up? And thank goodness that the weather is today and not tomorrow. But also, if you noticed, I was running around at this time of year. String instruments can be very fickle. If you're a parent of a string player, you may have had an experience where their strings pop out because these pegs that are stuck in there are just, you can just pull them out. So if it gets cold, the wood shrinks and then the pegs all drop. So everybody's been having issues with their instruments. But I think we are in tune. You are looking at a 70-piece middle school Tuckahoe string orchestra. Let's hear it for that. And these guys have been amazing this year. We have people who've been here and have been playing for a long time. We have absolute newbies who decided they wanted to pick up an instrument. And I've been doing my best to kind of juggle many different levels. But one level that seems to be sort of all the same is enthusiasm, that we're all happy to be here and we're all happy to be playing music. So just first off, I'm going to make them show you a couple of things that we've been doing because Mrs. D walked in. Thank you for her. Thank her for being here to play for us. I think they don't know how lucky they are to have somebody like her here, and sometimes I even forget. And we're thrilled to have her here. But she walked in and she heard them. So you guys, we're going to do this. There's this method, the born-off method, which they kind of roll their eyes at, but it's actually sort of fun to play. We're going to do born-off open string cycles starting on C strings and G strings, just straight across, repeat your top string. And now what they're doing is they're working on just like going from the frog, this end of the bow, all the way to the tip. Full bows, 4 bows on each string. Here we go, guys. Ready? And 1. Okay, so here's Into the Sky. Thank you. So the next thing is by another composer. If there are any high school folks out there, you'll remember the name of the great Stephen Chin, a composer. He's actually Australian, I believe. And if you saw the middle school video that we made, the one called Bumps in the Night that we made for Halloween, this guy, he does a lot of really ingenious, he writes fun and interesting things to play, but he introduces new techniques. And speaking a little bit about science, you're going to hear something. Vincent, can you demonstrate a harmonic? So do the open string. So where Vincent is touching is literally from there to there is where the string is open and ringing, and he's touching right at the halfway point of the string, which there's some science that I can't explain to you, but if you just touch the string right there, you don't push it down like you do the rest of the instrument, it makes you hear it. It sounds more like a flute. So can we all do, everybody who has that harmonic, everybody give me that A. Everybody does it at some point on your A strings. Ready, and A. One more, A. So they've all, if you're wondering, they all have like little pencil markings way up high on their fingerboard where they don't normally play. That's so they know where to go touch that harmonic. So this piece has some other little tricks like that. Left hand pizzicato where you pluck, but you pluck with your left hand. So he gives them some curveballs, Mr. Chin. So this is Shooting Stars. Okay, so we have one more little piece for you to play. So if you were with us last year, the middle school played a couple of hip-hop pieces. There's a composer that I just learned about who lives in Columbus, Ohio. Stephen Spotswood is his name, and he is a hip-hop violinist, and he's pretty awesome, and he's written a lot of great stuff. What was it? Hope and Strings Galore were the last two that we played last year. And everybody enjoyed them. When you buy his piece, you get the score, and you get a track with a beat that goes with it, which makes my hip quotient go way up. I don't know. I'm trying, folks. So again, this one, as they call it, dropped recently, like just as I had already picked out our music, but the piece is called String Star, and I was like, oh, I've got to get it. And honestly, don't tell them, but I think it has nothing to do with outer space. It's like string star, like rock star. But I have adapted the track and made it space related, which will make sense in a minute. And preceding that, three of our young violinists, musicians who are also aspiring scientists, are going to say some words of from famous female astronomers, or astronauts?
Space is for everybody. It's not just a few people in science or math, or for a select group of astronauts. That's our new frontier out there, and it's everybody's business to know about space. Dr. Krista McAuliffe.
The view of Earth is absolutely spectacular, and the feeling of looking back and seeing your planet as a planet is just an amazing feeling. It's a totally different perspective, and it makes you appreciate actually how fragile our existence is. Sally Ride.
Don't let anyone rob you of your imagination, your creativity, or your curiosity. It's your place in the world. It's your life. Go on and do all you can with it and make it the life you want to live. Dr. Mae Jemison.
From this distant vantage point, the Earth might not seem of any particular interest. But for us, it's different. Considering it enough that's here, that's home, that's us. On it, everyone we love, everyone we know, everyone we've ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering.
We're going to give you something here, and those of you who have been with me for a little bit probably get a little bit of what I'm going for, but I mean, I'm teaching music here, but I also, I kind of like to just talk about and teach sometimes, like, you know, there's a piece of music that's great or there's a song that's great, but when is a song more than just a song? And something happened actually at back to school night with a parent who I hope I'm not going to embarrass them or anything, but Mr. Arana and I had a conversation, and I don't even know quite how it came up, but he was talking about the sacrifices that his own parents made for him to study the guitar in the Philippines, which were great, the sacrifices that they went through for him, and how driven he was to give his 3 daughters as much of that as he could, and he decided to give them violin so that they might be learning more of the classics, like that hip-hop number that you just heard. And I guess then it came up that we were going to do a space-themed concert, and he mentioned that his mom, Renee's grandmother's favorite song was Starry, Starry Night. And he even had a pin of Vincent van Gogh on his shirt that I think he wears all the time. And it just left me to think, you know, what his father passed on to him, that he's now passing on to his 3 fierce young musicians, students, medical, amazing minds, and that these, you know, a song can be more than just a song. And I thought, well, we definitely have to do Starry, Starry Night on this concert. And if you know, Starry, Starry Night has little to do with outer space and more to do with Vincent van Gogh, but it is an amazing song, and you are going to hear the debut of our guitar club. And I also want to send out special thanks to Dr. Goodman and the board, because I don't know how many schools are adding ensembles, but this school is, so we have a new ensemble that you're about to hear, so let's hear it for that. So thank you, and here is Starry, Starry Night.
Starry, starry night, paint your palette blue and gray. Look out on a summer's day with eyes that know the darkness of my soul. Shadows on the hills, sketch the trees and the daffodils, catch the breeze and the winter chills in colors on the snowy linen land. Now I understand what you tried to say to me, how you suffered for your sanity, how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now. Starry, starry night, flaming flowers that brightly blaze, swirling clouds in violet haze, reflect in Vincent's eyes of china blue, colors changing hue, morning fields of amber grain, weathered faces lined in pain are soothed beneath the artist's loving hand.
the Guitar Club and Renee Arana. So next, you're looking at an amalgam of high school and middle school, the Siwanoy Sinfonietta. Sinfonietta is a small symphony, sometimes just strings or just means a small symphony, which is what we have right here. I do have some of our middle schoolers who we're going to be interpolating into this group more, but we're going to play one piece. It's an arrangement. One of the first things I arranged when I got here. It's a mashup of Gustav Holst's The Planets and John Williams, which if you don't know, when John Williams was called by Steven Spielberg to write Star Wars, he said, hey, I like that shark movie you wrote. Can you do space music? And John Williams said, well, how am I going to do space music? And he went and listened to Gustav Holst wrote a symphony basically called The Planets, and every movement was a different planet. And what you're about to hear, Jupiter, there's a very famous melody from it that went on to be, it's kind of like the national anthem of England. Something that, what is it? Oh, thine, I have it written down. It is, oh, thine to my country, something like that. And it's sung often in church as a hymn, but you're going to hear it mixed with some Star Wars themes. So the game is, see if you can name the Star Wars theme in between Gustav Holst's The Jupiter. So we'll say goodbye to our advanced middle school friends and move on. Yes, give them a big hand. So now you're going to hear a few things by Siwanoy. The next one is Igor Stravinsky's The Firebird, and many people asked why I chose that and how is it related to space. You might have recognized it. It was used in the Fantasia 2000. But Mrs. D concurs. She understands why I chose it. I mean, Igor Stravinsky was a very eccentric, forward-thinking Russian composer in the early 1900s who lived in France, in Paris. He caused a riot with something that he wrote. This piece, if you watch the later Fantasia 2000, it was used in that. And basically, it was a ballet, but it was about forces of nature and the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. And somehow, in my mind, it fits in a space-themed concert. We're going to hear our winds and percussion with us on this, the Firebird. Thank you. Okay, so you're going to have to stick with us. We're doing a couple of little strange things here, and this next piece is called Holes in Space. And it's almost all pizzicato, which is plucked. So you're going to notice the violins are all pretty much holding their violins like guitars. And the composer writes, something very mysterious is going on here. Are we in outer space or at a subatomic level? Little reactions are being set off and dying away. The pizzicato notes spread out through the orchestra. They are the holes in space, and they lead us to a special place where the violins play a graceful, ethereal melody with their bows. So at one point, they play a beautiful melody, but the rest, it's just these little pizzicato things. And it's going to be weird because there's long rests where there's no playing. And it's kind of uncomfortable. It was challenging for us. We had a couple of rehearsals where I was pretty salty, I'd say, with them for like jumping in the holes, right, guys? But I think we've nailed it. So here is Holes in Space. That was the best one yet. Cool, right? Strange, not like anything you've heard here before. So now, our favorite, John Williams, but we're doing slightly lesser known things. This is a set of 3 pieces. We're gonna do 2 of them. The first one is Across the Stars, featuring Maya on flute, yay. And yeah, give her a hand. I am thrilled to have these wind and percussion players with us, and it is tricky getting us all together, finding times that our schedules align, so they're all very kind to give up their lunches and come in and let me yell at them a little bit. So here is Across the Stars, and we will go right into Duel of the Fates. Let's hear it for the winds and the brass and the percussion. Lucas, Ali, our whole brass section. Amazing, you guys. So that ends Siwanoy. So they're going to hang out for a minute, but the rest of the high school folks can come out, and we're going to have a quick swap. And what's your character name? So we're going to hear a poem from our resident poet, Darth Maul.
In Praise of Mystery, a poem for Europa by Ada Limon. Arching under the night sky, inky with black expansiveness, we point to the planets we know. We pin quick wishes on stars. From Earth, we read the sky as if it is an unerring book of the universe, expert and evident. Still, there are many mysteries below our sky. The whale song, the songbird singing its call in the bough of a wind-shaken tree. We are creatures of constant awe, curious at beauty, at leaf and blossom, at grief and pleasure, sun and shadow. And it is not darkness that unites us, not the cold distance of space, but the offering of water, each drop of rain, each rivulet, each pulse, each vein. Oh, second moon, we too are made of water, of vast and beckoning seas. We too are made of wonders, of great and ordinary loves, of small invisible worlds, of a need to call out through the dark.
So now we will say goodbye to our brass and winds. Thank you guys for an amazing job. Take a quick bow, you guys. Take a bow. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. And now we'll just finish up with a few more high school string orchestra. This piece, Stargazer, appropriate, and you will hear why. It's a beautiful piece. If you noticed in the hip hop number that we did, we heard some words of the great Carl Sagan, who brought us the series Cosmos, which now his kind of replacement, I think, is the great Neil deGrasse Tyson. We have another astronomer, astrophysicist in our midst, J.J. Galicio, who is going to read some words of Carl Sagan.
The size and the age of the cosmos are beyond ordinary human understanding. Lost somewhere between immensity and eternity is our tiny planetary home. In our cosmic perspective, most human concern seems insignificant, even petty. And yet our species is young and curious and brave and shows much promise. In the last few millennia, we have made the most astonishing and unexpected discoveries about the cosmos and our place within explorations that are acceleration to consider. They remind us that humans have evolved to wonder, that understanding is joy, that knowledge is prerequisite to survival. I believe our future depends on how well we know the cosmos in which we float like a mote of dust in the morning sky.
That is the great J.S. Bach. So, just in a quick effort to not take ourselves too seriously, although how could you take me very seriously with what I'm wearing? My resident Fozzie Bear here, joke teller to the stars, Santiago has a few space jokes for us quickly.
So, the other day, I checked out a book on anti-gravity. I can't put it down. You know, I thought about putting an observatory in my house, but the cost was astronomical. Last week, I attended a lecture on Halley's Comet. It went completely over my head. I'm so disappointed. I keep pressing the space bar on my keyboard, but I'm still on Earth. And as you can probably tell by now, I'm addicted to space jokes, but someday I'll overcome it.
All right. So the reason I gave you that is you're about to hear a piece by a composer, Samuel Adler, who's a quite well-known academic and composer. And this piece is called A Little Bit of Space Time. And the first movement you're going to hear, the strings are doing all kinds of crazy things. They're, Nico, why don't you, or you do this. Show them Behind the Bridge. Things that I never allow them or want them to do, like scratching on a chalkboard. They're all going to be playing Behind the Bridge. They're knocking on their instruments, right, Timo? So you're going to hear all kinds of crazy things, and I think that maybe it's supposed to sound like outer space, although I hear that there's no sound in outer space. So here is a little bit of space and time. Thank you. So, thank you for taking this journey with us. I hope you enjoyed it, and found it from everything from Dr. Gia Lorenzo's stargazing to the words to everything. I enjoy sharing this stuff with the students, and I think that they enjoy these crazy different pieces and themes that we're doing. Quick thank yous to the amazing, our new principal, who I am absolutely loving, Mr. Arthur. Thank you for all your support. And to Dr. Goodman, like I said, you don't hear of schools adding ensembles, really. So I'm grateful to them. I'm grateful to the board and all the support that we're getting for this program. And we're going to finish with a piece called Hyperdrive. And I feel like I just realized I want to thank my wife again, and I also want to thank the string parent committee for helping with, and everybody who brought food. Thank you to all of them. Give them a big hand. And I believe any food that is left is going to be out there, and please, for the love of my waistline, eat on your way out. And you don't have to pay on the way out. But what I wanted to say is I am enthused at where this program is going and the momentum that we have, and some might say we are in hyperdrive. Here we go with hyperdrive.